Howdy, how do I determine the signs for a moment in 2D? Okay, we're gonna go over a sample problem. I'm gonna first use a finger method strategy whenever I use my index finger and I put it into the direction of the force that I'm going to be applying it at. And I'm gonna take as a point of reference point A because that's where I'm taking the moment at, and I'm gonna observe what happens to it. And based on that, I'm gonna give it a direction, whether positive or negative. Remember that counterclockwise is positive direction and clockwise is negative direction. Okay, so we all know that moment is force times distance, specifically the perpendicular distance, correct? But a lot of us have trouble indicating the direction. So what I'm going to do is put my index finger on whatever force I want to start with. And I want to start with my left side. In blue, I'm going to put like my finger right here. And I'm going to push in the direction of that force and observe what happens to A, whether it's going to move clockwise or counterclockwise. To better see this observation, I decided to actually use a finger, an index finger. Okay? And if I put my index finger there and push with 5 newtons of force, I'm going to observe a clockwise observation, right? Because you can even do it yourself with a real life object, and you'll see how point A seems to be moving clockwise as indicated. Okay? And now what if we wanted to do that with the right side? Well, the same thing happens, but now it's moving counterclockwise. And this is what I do. I start visualizing it in my mind and seeing what happens to it every single time. Another way to see this is using the steering wheel. Okay. I'm going to use my steering wheel right here. Okay. And I like taking up as a point of reference point A as always. I mean, if it was point B and it was anywhere else, the same rules would apply. I would just have to imagine where my finger is taking it. Okay. Now I'm going to put it right here per se. As you can see, I changed that other one. And now I want that my arrow, specifically this point right here, touches or goes across point A. If it's this side, then we're doing it wrong. So it needs to be this specifically pointy point. Okay? So as you can see, if I have my steering wheel, and I move it clockwise, only my red arrow will go through it, while my blue arrow will be in reverse. So that's not the good direction for the blue arrow, but yes for the red arrow. The red arrow is moving clockwise, which means negative direction, while my blue arrow will need to move counterclockwise, which means a positive direction, right? So I will do that every time, taking as a point of reference the point at which I'm taking the moment at. And then seeing the effects that the forces at which I'm putting my index finger or the steering wheel have on that. And yeah, that's how I choose clockwise or counterclockwise. Okay? That means, again, that my force caused by the 5 newtons in the left is going to be my negative force, because that's lifting it clockwise, while the right force is lifting it counterclockwise, right? That direction and this in that direction, which means this moment is correct, right? The math calculates negative 15 plus 15 is equal to 0. This is correct. The math is correct.